Konnichiwa, and welcome to Tsuki no Ame, where we try Japanese snacks and treats. Today we have two snacks to try from Boxu. So this is our fried Kakinotane Shiso Pickled Cucumber flavor. Pretty straightforward. These are small rice crackers. That's what Kakinotane basically is. Uh, these ones in particular are flavored like pickled cucumber and shiso. Should be pretty good. Looking forward to this. The second snack we're going to try is also fairly straightforward. So they're calling these sushi rice puffs. And basically the culture guy is saying sushi wrapper and rice puff, and that's all they're telling me. So this should be interesting. I'm kind of curious about both of these. So with all that in mind, let's get started. Itadakimasu! So starting with our fried kakinotane shiso pickled cucumber flavor. Okay, first off, these are bigger than I thought they'd be. They're also very, very purple. And I can really smell the vinegar from pickling the cucumber. It does smell pretty good. Alright. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, I need a second to try and... Okay. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So, first off, really nice crunch. That is something that's pretty consistent with Kakinotane, is that it really tends to have a really nice crunchy texture that I really enjoy. I've really liked Kakinotane when we've gotten it. Flavor-wise, that's where things get kind of interesting, because as an American, it feels very weird to read a flavor description that is pickled cucumber, just because over here, anytime people are talking about pickles, they're pretty much always talking about pickled cucumbers. That's just what pickles are. But over in Japan, they pickle a lot of different vegetables, and it's super easy to do. I've done it. You basically mix up, your vinegar with some flavoring, and you leave the vegetable to soak like overnight, maybe for a full day, and the flavor is very, very different than what you'd expect, in part because they use very different flavorings for them. The recipe I found had quite a bit of soy sauce, and it's a very different kind of pickle flavor, and it is really good. I actually highly recommend if you're curious about Japanese pickles. Like I said, very, very easy to make. And you can do it with just about any vegetable you can think of. I did it with broccoli and cauliflower, and it turned out amazing. But it means that it's a very different flavor profile than at least what I personally expect, having grown up with this one idea of pickles, such as like the dill pickle. That's pretty much the solid view of pickles, at least for most everybody I know in my, day-to-day life. And this is definitely not that. But at the same time, it is still got like the pickle notes, but it's a lot milder of a flavor than most pickles that I'm more familiar with. And the shiso is really nice and strong. Shiso is hard to describe. There apparently, according to the culture guide, it is an herb from the mint family, and I could kind of get a little bit of that in there. Shiso is an herb that shows up a lot in Japanese cuisine, so if you're curious about that, I would definitely recommend. And it was really nice and it was really strong and it blends really well with the flavor of the Japanese style pickled cucumber, which is so very, very different from pickles I'm used to. Um, I have to admit, I'm not a fan of like dill pickles. They're okay. I don't know. I don't tend to keep them in my house, but Japanese style pickles, they have a very different flavor, and I have really enjoyed it. So if you're curious about them, um, or if you know you just pickled vegetables show up a lot in anime and manga and just in Japanese food in general. So if you're curious about that, even if you don't like pickles, I would highly recommend that you look into and consider trying them yourself just because, again, they are very, very different. So wildly different. At least I personally have found that I do really enjoy them. And this definitely kind of hits some of the same notes, and the shiso is really, really good. I really like it. This is very um, different and unusual from the expectations, again, just because I did grow up with with dill pickles in my life and not a lot of these other type of pickled vegetables. Um, but I feel like I need to experiment with that more because these are really, really good. So if you were curious about Japanese pickles, or Japanese food in general, again, especially because shiso does show up a lot, these are really, really good, and it's a fun way to try these. And it's one little bag of Kakinotane. So if you don't like it, it's not a lot as opposed to some other ways to get to try some of these things. But I really like them. These are really fun. Like I said, really nice crunch, really good flavor. Just takes a bit to kind of explain because it is so very, very different from the kind of pickles that I grew up with personally. So moving on to our sushi rice puffs. Not a lot of scent on these. Okay, it's a rice puff. It's nice and crunchy. It's nice and sweet. It is super fun with the sushi wrapper. I'll admit that is super fun. Um, if you get the chance to try them, definitely would recommend. Wouldn't hesitate. At the same time, and I kind of feel like I've gotten rice puffs like these through easier means. So if you're somebody who doesn't get these boxes, if you don't have the chance to try them without having to kind of go look for them, I'm not sure that it would necessarily be worth it. At least not like the fried Kakinotane is. Um, they're definitely good. They're nice. They're tasty. But I don't know. I feel like I've gotten them through easier means. Gochiso-sama. So to recap, we tried our fried Kakinotane shiso pickled cucumber flavor, and it feels like a mouthful every time I say it. Really good. Very nice crunch. Very different kind of pickled flavor than I think a lot of people, at least a lot of people that I know, would be used to. It is nothing like a dill pickle. Um, very, very different, but very, very tasty. I personally am a fan. I like these a lot better. Very, very fun. Very tasty. Definitely worth your time if you're curious and interested in those sorts of things. Uh, we also tried our sushi rice puff, which was fun and cute. And it is good and tasty, and it has a really nice crunch to it. Um, yeah, just nice and fun. So yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you like my shirt, the link for that is down in the description below. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Jane.